I'm trying to get one of that on the speaker on there that's going behind me. Being mean.
I think it's funny. I know. Ain't know who to call on it.
Yeah, she's in trouble. She just doesn't know it. I've got my normal effect on people. Everybody looks like that. All right. This evening we're going to be in Matthew chapter 7, verses 24 through 29. Matthew 7, 24 through 29. And if somebody want to read that.
Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon the house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it.
Okay. What do we notice here? There's two different, or one thing, two different people.
Foundation.
Foundation's part of it. To have a foundation, what was the first thing that they did?
Listen, God.
Listen, there's one where I'm going, that's where I was looking for. Yeah, two different people here that did two different things, but they also heard it previous. So they heard something, one applied himself and one didn't. Where did the wise man build?
The rock.
On the rock, right? When we go to build something, mainly towers and things like that, or bridges, do they just go out here to the creek or the ditch and just throw a bridge across it and call it good? No. What would happen?
Collapse.
It collapse, it buckle, it give. Anytime anybody's tried driving something across something soft, what happens? It falls in, right? Vehicle, it won't hold you up. Soft ground won't hold things up. A house or a building built on something that shifts or something that changes will not stand. All right. Someone want to read Luke 11:28, please. Matthew, you're there.
But he said, more than that, blessed are those who hear the word of God and keep it.
What are we doing if we hear it? Or what should we do?
Keep it.
We should keep it, right?
What he said.
How do we gain wisdom? How do we gain knowledge?
By listening.
By listening. We've all been taught, right? Somewhere along the lines, we've been taught something. And if we did not apply ourselves to listen intently, did we take anything away from the things that we were supposed to be learning? In school, you may not like sitting there in class and having to do everything. I've got one in the back seat that doesn't really care to do that sometimes. It's a little bit independent. She gets up on her butt. But, no matter how much we didn't like to sit there, if we hadn't sat there, where would we be today? And if we didn't sit and listen as we were growing up, to what we were taught through the Bible, where would we be today? What kind of foundation do we have without God's word?
None.
None. All right. 1 Corinthians 2:6, please. 1 Corinthians 2:6.
However, we speak wisdom among those who are mature, yet not the wisdom of this age, nor of the rulers of this age, who are coming to nothing.
Okay. He's speaking there on the wisdom of this age. The wisdom of this age would be an age of do whatever you think's right. Do whatever makes you feel good. What would that be akin to building on? Sand, right? There's no base to it. If we do everything that our neighbor tells us to do, or our friends tell us to do, where will that lead us if they're not grounded to?
Down the wrong path.
Can take you down the wrong path also. So we want to make sure that the things that we're following, the wisdom that we're gaining, is through God.
So what was the meaning of that?
We're gonna go to 1 Corinthians 3. I believe I've got 9 to 14.
For we are God's fellow workers, you are God's field, you are God's building. According to the grace of God which was given to me, as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another builds on it. But let each one take heed how he builds on it. To where?
14.
For no other foundation can anyone lay than that which is laid, which is Jesus Christ. Now, if anyone builds on this foundation with gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, straw, each one's work will become clear, for the day will declare it, because it will be revealed by fire. And the fire will test each one's work of what sort it is. If anyone's work which he has built on it endures, he will receive a reward.
Okay. This is giving an idea of what kind of foundation that we're wanting to build on. But it also, get my tongue out there, get it more. Don't chew on your tongue, it'll be better. It's showing there that everyone builds on a foundation, correct? But yet, if we're not building correctly, what's it showing?
Have nothing.
It'll be tested, right? Everything we do will be brought to it. Whether the trials and things of today get to us, or if we work through them and persevere and come out the other side. You know, everything we do, God sees. Everything we do will be shown. All right? What did the careless, we'll go back to, back up here, back to Matthew 7. In verse 26, what do we notice here? Actually, I'm gonna back up a little bit and kind of tie this in with what we've been reading. In verse 25, it says, and the rains descended, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. As you see it, like I said earlier, about the foundation being strong, and everything we build on it. Does that say anything about not having trials or temptations come on? That's how we're tested, right? Something comes along, and if it was all gonna be easy, if God would have said, well, you just, if the gate's open, have at it. What kind of respect do you gain on things and stuff like that? You don't have any respect for anything that you get easy, do you? If you had to work for it, do you prize that a lot more than you do that something that just says, here, have at it, or here you go? Things I've worked for, I have a tendency to kind of put over by itself, and you cherish those things a little bit more. You want to keep them. You don't want to just use it and throw it away. Like this pen, if it quits today, it goes in the trash can. You don't have much value to that. But other things that you work for, you do. All right. Now, verse 26. But everyone who hears these sayings of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. What's it say about hearing here? He heard the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he knew everything that the first guy did. He was wise. What happened? What was the difference?
He didn't do what he heard, or hearken to what he heard.
He did not stop and think about it. All right. Someone read Matthew 13:19, please. Matthew 13:19.
When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, they cometh the wicked one, and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which received seed by the wayside.
Okay? Those that don't apply what they're hearing, those that don't use the knowledge that they're gaining, will be like this. Those that hear and just don't care enough to want to investigate it. If we ever stop and open our Bible and read, how will our, I don't know what word this, not mental state, but our knowledge, how will it grow, or what will it do? That's a good question. I said if I don't open my Bible, and I'm sitting in the back row and I'm just quiet, Madison, if I'm not opening my Bible, if I'm not applying myself, if I'm not reading, what does it do for me?
Nothing, you don't
Nothing.
grow.
You don't grow, right? It's nothing, you're not gonna further yourself in it. You're not gonna gain, foresight into something. A lot of times I learn more looking up something than I do just by reading or listening to somebody else read it. And it may be just me, as she says, I'm getting older, and I'll throw that on me, because she likes to put that in there too. She's back there with her nose in the air. We'll see about that later. All right. Let's go to Matthew 25:27, please. For the rest, I don't think anybody read that one in. Are you there, Madison? Then you're gonna read it.
So you last time deposited my money with the bankers on my incoming. And when I received back my own with interest.
Okay, that's talking about talents, and the one guy that hid his in the ground and didn't give it to the bankers to make more money. But it's also, if we don't apply ourselves with what God has given us and use that to further the word, we're not any different, we're not any better. And it's just being lazy. To that end, like he says, is lazy, slothful. He doesn't get out and do something. All right. Someone want to read 1 Peter 5:8, please? 1 Peter 5:8.
Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour.
Okay. If we just hang out and just chill, we're not doing much. And that doesn't mean we don't, work or anything else like that. 'Cause, I mean, I'm as big a bum as anybody else as far as if I stop, I want to go to sleep. But if we're not applying ourselves the way we should, we give that opportunity to lose what we do have because of our lack of effort. God's given us this opportunity, and if we don't take it, there's somebody else out looking for something to have that's easy. So we need to kind of pay attention to that. All right, verse 27, we get the same consequences to the house as far as the rain descended, the floods came up, the winds blew and beat on the house, and it fell, and great was its fall. Why would it be great?
Because it had no foundation, so it didn't have anything holding it up.
It had no foundation, it had nothing holding it up. Okay, and if we apply that to ourselves today, and we think we're on the right track, but we may not be doing everything that we should be doing, or we haven't, what happens? I think the great fall that comes into play here is somebody that thinks he's done everything the way he should be. You look out at the world and those out there that have, had the opportunity and didn't take it, thinking that they were on the right path and then didn't get to where, they didn't get to the destination they think they were gonna get. Let's put it that way. So what kind of foundation do we look for?
You should look towards Christ.
We're gonna look towards Christ. We wanna be based on that rock. We wanna be based on God, firm foundation. Because if we don't, we're just gonna be washing away with everybody else. We're gonna get the same result. All right? Any comments on that before we go to the next point? Madison's back there shaking her head back and forth. All right. Let's jump over to John 10, 1 through 9.
Most assuredly I say to you, he who does not enter the sheepfold by the door, but climbs up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he who enters by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the doorkeeper opens, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. And when he brings out his own sheep, he goes before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. Yet they will be no means follow a stranger, but will flee from him, for they do not know the voice of strangers. Jesus used this illustration, but they did not understand the things which he spoke to them.
Stop it. All right. We'll get the front half of this anyway. What do we know about sheep? Or sheep in general? What's that?
They're not smart.
They're not smart. Maybe it's a person working with them.
They're followers, they're not leaders.
They're followers, they're not leaders. Anybody that's ever been around a sheep and thought it was smart to go out and chase them, I only had to do it 2 or 3 times when I've seen them clear fence. And most of the time, all they did have to do with that was just see me and they went over to the top of the hog panel. But to watch a sheep that stands about that tall over a panel that high and not even touch it, it's kind of entertaining. But what I noticed about sheep were if you want them to go somewhere, you have to do it with a bucket. Or they have to know who you are and know that you're going to feed them. They're going to have a reason to follow you.
Like cows.
Kind of like cows. I like cows you don't have to chase. It's a lot better because usually if you have to chase them somewhere, they're going to chase you. So,
Revenge is sweet.
exactly.
It's gonna hurt more.
Yeah.
It hurt me much more than it hurt you.
Say the first time, you chase them and they go on the left, and when they come around, they chase you around, and then, yeah. It's a vicious cycle back and forth with those. But, it's a lot easier just to take the bucket out and shake it and watch them follow you. It's a lot handier too. But the sheep are the same way. If the guy I used to work with that had the sheep, he could walk out in there and they would kind of stand off and watch you. They didn't, at times they would run, if you opened the gate through the gate and made a bang, hit a bucket or do something weird, and they just scattered. There's a reason why they say the sheep are scattered. If something drops in the middle and there's a loud noise, they take off running and they're just gone and blow up. Are people a whole lot different than that, really? Now, I can be scatterbrained at times. There's times my wife seems to think I need to do something and I might have forgot about it, spaced it off, or didn't do it, and hence I'm in trouble. But people are a lot like sheep. They just kind of go here, there, and everywhere. And the sheep are going that's going to follow, but they'll only follow the shepherd or the person that's feeding them all the time.
So we don't have enough to go all the way around.
In the first part of this, what do we notice in verse 1?
All of them are the same one. We also. Yeah.
10:1. Verse 1 of chapter 10. What do we notice?
They're comparing it to a robber or a thief
Mm-hmm.
on how they get in there.
Because they don't use the door.
The door, right?
They don't use the straight forward.
Straight and narrow way.
straight and narrow way. They're using them any means that they think they can to get in, right? So you got a thief or a robber wanting to get in, he's not wanting to go through the door. What do we see when we're thinking door? What did Christ say he was? I am the way. He is the door. He is our way in. If we're not going through that door, what are we viewed as? A thief or a robber, and nobody really cares for you on them, right? Nobody really wants to be associated with that I know of anyway. All right. What are we to Christ? The sheep, we're the followers, right? We try to emulate or do the same thing he's doing or did. And, even with our shortcomings, we still follow or attempt to follow what he's taught us. We should be wanting to do whatever he did to the best of our ability. When you call a sheep, when you work with any animal, really, it's not really even just a sheep. Cattle the same way. You walk out to a pasture and you call the animals. If Ron goes out there and Kathy goes out there, who are they going to pay attention to? Ron. You send Justin or somebody else out there in a different vehicle than they're used to seeing, is not any different than, Mike Hauser kind of does, not than anybody. But generally, animals will come to their own. So,
And
Christ,
you could tell the difference in them. Like he could tell which cow's missing,
Yeah.
which they all look the same to me. But I mean, that's the same way with God. He recognizes his own.
you do realize there's red ones and black ones and brown ones, right?
And like,
And white. What? Well, see, you're not gonna miss long. Ron's trying to keep himself out of trouble, I understand.
no, you're not.
He's not. It's a cow's a cow, right, Kathy?
That's right.
That's right. You might want to get the numbers from him before he can't remember how many he's got. Just saying. But we're sheep that follow Christ, and like you said, the owner of the sheep knows how many of the cattle. An owner usually knows how many cattle he's got, where they're at, where they're supposed to be, and where they're not supposed to be, as a general rule. I have seen a few out there that's kind of been here, there, and everywhere, but generally, as a rule, the animals know the owner, and the owners know the animals. Verse 5, what do we see there?
There's a stranger, they won't come to him.
The voice. So, that being said, if we're studying and doing the, following Christ, we open a Bible, we study it, and somebody comes in here and says, well, you don't necessarily need to do that, should that throw a big red flag up for us? We should be reading and following, right? We should know if there's a red flag that flies up. Is somebody going to come in here, obviously not Christian, and try to talk to you, to get you to do stuff like that? Not to say that they aren't brazen enough to do that, but usually if somebody's trying to get you to do something you shouldn't be doing, are they more subtle than that or smooth? And maybe not go just all in right off the front end? Yeah. Okay. Why do you think that people didn't understand it at that time? Because what were they? The people Christ was talking to at that time, what were they? shepherds. You know, should have understood what he was talking about. Because a lot of them were shepherds, they were,
Were they the Pharisees?
now you're gonna make me dig back, so I did not dig into that deep.
Number 40. 10.
Where? The Samaritans.
So, yeah.
Yeah, the Pharisees. Who's who he was talking to, which should have been, what was their job? What should they have been?
Bosses.
They weren't apostles.
Bosses.
Oh, bosses, sorry. You just remember they don't work. They would have been the overseers, right? They should have been shepherding, I can't say it, it's not gonna come out right. Shepherd, I give up. Herding, yeah, but I can do that, herding Israel. They should have been the ones had the oversight and saw what was going on. But yet they didn't understand the simple message of follow me and what I'm telling you. And then the thief aspect of things. The coming in and taking something even though they didn't work for it or didn't deserve it. All right. Now we'll go ahead and read from 7 to, let's see what I want you to stop.
We already talked about 9.
What's that?
We already talked about that.
I know, but this is actually, I didn't read this one. Let's go to 16. Oh,
Yeah, question.
go ahead.
Here, 1 Corinthians 2, at verse 7 there. I think I know what it is, the answer tells on down here. The hidden wisdom,
Okay,
second, the 1 Corinthians 2,
1 Corinthians 2, 7. I was on the same page.
says hidden wisdom.
I'm gonna read that. I'm gonna start in verse 6, but I'm gonna read down through that so we get an oversight. However, we speak wisdom among those who are mature, yet not the wisdom of this age, nor the rulers of this age, who are coming to nothing. But we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, the hidden wisdom which God ordained before the ages for our glory, which none of the rulers of this age knew, for had they known, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. But as it is written, eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor have entered into the heart of man the things which God has prepared for those who love him. All right, and your question was the
hidden wisdom there.
the hidden wisdom.
Talked about 10, 11, 12 down there. I'm trying to,
It was God's plan.
In my Bible, it says, verse 7, it says predetermined.
it was already told.
Like, the definition.
It had been foretold of Christ coming.
Yeah.
They did not pay attention to what they had been taught.
Right.
But God had set this in motion. God had set the wheels turning ahead of us to get everything prepared for Christ at his coming. And then God revealed all that to the apostles. And as we see through the Bible, all the ones that Christ went to, you think about all the people he talked to. Were they yes, he talked to the Pharisees and Sadducees and the leaders, but who else did he talk to?
Servants.
The servants, the people that they would have viewed as being lowly, not as well off, sick, lame. I mean, he went to all these people that needed help versus the people that should have already had the word and knew what they were supposed to be doing anyway, but yet weren't applying it. And I think that's where the wisdom was hidden, was in the fact that they did not pay attention. Because in their heart, I think they thought that they were right on what they were doing. And that's what it shows. I can completely confuse everybody. Not too bad.
Just keep talking about wisdom all the way down through 13, 14. I'm just trying to get it all together.
Get it all together. We haven't got a few minutes. I'll go ahead and go through 13. But God has revealed them to us through his Spirit, for the Spirit searches all things, yes, the deep things of God. What man knows the things of a man except the Spirit of the man which is in him? Even so, no one knows the things of God except the Spirit of God. Now, we have received not the Spirit of the world, but the Spirit who is from God, that we might know the things that have been freely given to us by God. These things we also speak, not in words which man's wisdom teaches, but which the Holy Spirit teaches, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. But the natural man does not receive the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness to him, nor can he know them, because they are spiritual discerned. But he who is spiritual judges all things, yet he himself is rightly judged by no one. For who has known the mind of the Lord, that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ.
Number 5, not.
If we don't have the mind of Christ, what are we like? Or what are we like? Of course, the world, right? We're not any better than the rest of the world. And
This one is.
our thoughts, we're worried about, main things we're worried about, food, transportation, and some are warm to sleep at the moment, right? Worldly things that we have to, we have to have it to survive. But does God work? I guess I can't say God doesn't worry about that because he's gonna take care of us. But is that something that just is a pressing matter? No, the spiritual side of things is. It's our spiritual well-being, we'll get blessed physically, but our spiritual side is a side he's worried about also. It's a side that we need to make sure that we're taking care of.
But don't you think that has something to do with the fact that, when we're born, we're not born with the wisdom of God, the wisdom of the Bible. We're not born with that. And so it is a hidden mystery, I guess, to us until we're ready to unfold it, which we're still doing if we've been a Christian a long time. You're still working to get that knowledge.
It's never ending thing.
It's not a miraculous thing that, wow, God ain't God.
Said wouldn't crucify the Lord.
If they would have known.
If they would have known.
So see, it wasn't, not everything, they've heard it, but they didn't either believe it or they didn't know everything.
Well, I like this. It's pretty easy. When you started teaching, was it the same as when you quit?
No.
Exactly. Learning it keeps growing. Your knowledge, the things that you understand and know, grow over time. And if nobody's there to show us, we're not going to grow in the right way or aspect, and we may not even ask for the things that we think we need until something comes along and we hear. I think that's where the hearing comes into play. We've got to hear it or we'll never know about it. And if we don't apply it to ourselves or go looking for it.
I feel like a good day is a day that you learn something new.
Yeah.
We should be striving to learn something new every day.
I'm having quite a good day today.
I think we'll end on that.
What?
I think we'll end on that. We can't have bloodshed. You know, push the button.